the story, the story. Thank you for having me here. My first time here in Odessa, by the way. Yesterday in April, when I was coming from the airport to the hotel, for me it was a kind of deja vu. I grew up in Venezuela, and I grew up in a oil and gas oil field in a hometown, very similar to Odessa, very similar to Odessa. So when I was seeing all the dirty bricks, the warehouses, the job for me was so familiar. So really caught my attention that because, today I'm here because 35 years ago, I was like you. I was remembered that 35 years ago, I was sitting and doing like this, during a conference in somebody like here and today. So when you begin your career, in my case, I grew up in Venezuela and worked in the oil and gas there. Many people you know that in the 50s and to the 80s, Venezuela was one of the wealthiest countries of Latin America. It was the wealthiest country of Latin America. And oil production at some point was the second biggest oil producer of all the world. And the company, the state of the company was a fifth oil company. Long time ago. That's not the case today, unfortunately. But there's where I started my career. In the 80s, when I began my career, I had 21 years. So I was a young guy, full of dreams, sitting down, trying to become a leader, and trying to build up my career and grow up in the corporate life. And I did it. I did it because 15 years ago, I could come here to the US and I continued my career here in Single Petroleum. I came as a CFO and I became the CEO of the company. So back into November 2017 comes my story because even a career for me was successful. For me, the challenge was not in the boardroom, was really in the life classroom. Sometimes that is what really tested. So that's my story. So I want you to think a little bit about this. I want you to raise your hands among the finance. I want you to first think a little bit how many times you feel that you are lost and that you don't have future, that you have things in life that you don't feel that you have a future. Sometimes you feel that you don't have the strength enough. Sometimes you feel that you don't have the strength enough. Sometimes you feel that you can be overwhelmed by the situation that you're facing. Sometimes you feel that you're not betraying the people that love you, and even you're betraying yourself. And sometimes you feel that you're in a place that you don't belong. Because sometimes you have those feelings. But at the same time, you can feel that you can be better than you can believe that you are. Sometimes you're more capable than you believe that you are. Sometimes you can feel that wow, when you do things that how can I do this? And sometimes you say, okay, I have a friend, he's going through a problem, I have a partner, a colleague, a fiancé, somebody that I love that's going through a challenge, and I help them, and you feel proud of it. Because that's what life is. Because even though you have gone through those struggles in life, so now you have that unbreakable spirit that everybody has inside. And this is something that I discovered. So my journey, and because it's incredible the thing that you can do in life. And you don't know. Believe me, all of us has that power within. All of us has that unbreakable spirit inside. Maybe sometimes you don't know what you have. But sometimes life is going to test you. That's where you're going to see if you have it. And then that's my story here, because back in November 2017, as I said, I came from being an immigrant and came here, continued my career, very successful career. But the situation at that time, I'm talking 2017, between Venezuela and the US was not good. Same thing that happened today. Incredible. 7 years after, the same situation. Same situation. Nothing had changed. And I said, well, Jose, you have 35 years. I believe that I'm going to get it. So I get approval to retire. So now in November 2017, and I'm in retirement. And I was in the movie with my wife. I'm a big fan of Superman. I was in the world premiere of the Justice League, the Superman 2017. November 2017. And I was in that movie with my wife, and I received a phone call. I always say the good things and bad things always come with a phone call. Unfortunately, the bad things always come with a phone call. Think about it. When you receive that phone call from a lawyer having some issues, when you receive a phone call from a doctor, there's some medical. So when you receive a phone call from a police officer, then your kid had a calculation. Always comes with a phone call. Well, that phone call was my phone call. Because I was called to go to a business meeting at Caracas, Venezuela, to make a presentation. And I flew in the day. I flew with my 5 vice presidents. And we did a presentation. Big presentation. And for me it was, wow, finishing your career, getting retired, 1,000 people in a crowd, everybody standing ovation. And I said, what a way to finish my career. What happened was that minutes after, I saw when they came from that door, like 20 guards, tall guys, black suit, mask, and something here that said DSC. When I saw DSC, what is that? That was the counterintelligence military police of that country. And when we saw this guy coming, he said, why these guys are coming? Well, they're asking for me. And when they asked for me, I discovered that we got caught in an ambush. So we were accused to be spies, had committed treason to the country, and minutes after, we're handcuffed in an armored truck, headed to the dungeon for the next 5 years. So that's what happened when things happen in this life. You never know where they're going to come. Because situation in life will never announce. And maybe you're not prepared. But the way you decide to face things in life is the only thing you have. This is your only choice. You cannot choose the circumstance. You cannot choose what's going to happen. What you can choose is how you're going to face things. And I'm not going to say that I was prepared. That would not be true. Because the first year we were separated, I was in isolation. 1 year solitary confinement. And during that year, you begin to feel that loneliness, the darkness. Try to picture the moment. Try to picture being in a small cell. Try to smell the dirt in the floor, the stain in the walls, and the darkness. Because now you're in a place in darkness and you lost everything. You lost your comfort, your family, you lost your freedom, and you lose everything. So you say, okay, what's going to happen? So there's where your mind begins to play games. Because now you have a lot of things happening. And believe me, a lot of things begin to pass. I had 1 year that had a lot of time to think about my life, a lot of things that things I did good, I did wrong. But I began to think in my family. Because at the beginning, I'm not going to say that I was superpowered. I was really lost. I was hopeless. At some point, I was even having suicidal thoughts. Because I thought, if I'm here, accused to being a spy in a communist regime, the probability to come back for me was nothing. But at some point, you have the choice. It's a very, very personal choice. When you decide to say, hey, stop. Hey, stop. Because your mind can be your battleground, but can be your sanctuary too. It depends on the way how you decided to do things in life. And they can speak you everything. What they cannot do is take your mindset. So everything is related to the mindset. So at some point, I said, stop. You have a family. By the time I had 31 years married, my kids already grown up, 2 grandsons, and I began to think, okay, this is your reality. Now, what are you going to do? So I decided to stay strong, become strong in body, soul, spirit, because I had a family waiting for me. And that I need to change everything, because that is what happened in life. Life can test you in any way. Believe me, it will always test you. It can be now, it can be tomorrow, it can be in the future, but all, because that is part of God master. We're all tested. But the way we decided to face it in life is going to make a difference. In our case, when I decided to say, okay, this is my new reality, because something that is important, and because I learned the art to survive. This is something that is part of my coaching program. Because when you are going to any situation in life, the first reaction is very human, is denial. This is not happening to me. This is wrong. Have you experienced that? Yes. This is wrong. This is not happening to me. This is the first reaction. This is not happening to me. And then comes that reaction. Why me? God, why me? Why this is happening to me? I don't deserve this. I was thinking, why this is happening to me? I had a successful career, and at the end of the career, I'm going to get retired. Why am I going through this situation? I didn't understand it. Everything has a reason in life. So now, when you have a choice, you have a very particular choice that is accepted. And when you decided to accept it, it can take 1 day, 1 hour, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, or it can take forever. There's where the people get depressed, get anxiety, when they don't accept the things in life. And I'm here to say that any situation in life, you can always overcome it. But you need to have that mindset. So the first thing that you have to do is you have to be focused. You need to be focused in the situation. And this is something that I'm telling you can be in your business, in your life, in your family, in any situation in life. Any situation that you're going in your life, the first thing that you need to be is focus. Focus. Calm and focus. It's incredible how when you get to calm and focus, how you begin to see the things more clear. Sometimes you have the answer in front of you and you don't see it. Or maybe you don't have the answer, but maybe you have a path to find a solution. So you begin to see the things in a different way. When you get calm and focused on the situation, because that's what we did. Everything I'm talking here is that's what we did. So now you begin to have a better mindset. You have a positive mindset. Even if you're going in a dark moment, you have a better mindset. Because you can be in a dark moment, and you can have a positive mindset even then. Even then. It's your choice. Always is by choice. And now, having a positive mindset, now you're accepting that this is your situation. I decided, okay, this is my new reality. Let's survive this. It passed 1 year. It passed 1 year. 1 year after, one day they opened the door and they put us the 6 together. So 1 year after I saw my 5 colleagues, 1 year after, I didn't know where they were. So we were put together. The first reaction of us was huggers, begin to, cry. and say, hey, we were 6 oil and gas executives with more than 30 years. So we did like a board group, and we said, okay, let's create a survival plan. And that's what we did. We created a survival plan. We decided to stick in a survival plan to the next years, and it worked because we did. So now being focused, now being positive, and get connected with the people that support you. And this is something that I strongly recommend to anybody that's having a problem in life. Never do things alone. Sometimes we have the thing that when you're having struggles, you get alone by yourself. You need to have a circle of support. Networking groups like this are incredible. Incredible. So this is a great example, this type of group. Having networking, having colleagues in your work, your loved ones. I've been thinking my wife. Every time my wife was calling me when I was active in the corporate world, I never had time for her. Never. I always ask, give me only 1 minute, I have a board, I have a meeting, I have this, I have that. I have never had time. Now I'm begging to have a call with her. Now I was begging to have a call. So how will I change? So now that's what life is. That's exactly what life is. So now we decided to do this survival plan, and we created a bond. We decided to do this plan, and we said, if some reason somebody is down, the other had to come back and lift. So we were always lifting ourselves. We created that bond, and it worked. We stayed years in a confined place, and it worked. So this works, my friends. This really works. So get connected to the people. Taking care of your well-being, your mental and your physical well-being. Because this is something that when you're going to an university, the first thing that you abandon yourself. You go to bed and you begin to cry, poor of me, and you get abandoned. You don't want to answer the phone to nobody, and then you get totally depressed. No, when you're having any situation, you have to take care of your mental health. You have to take care of your well-being. Morning walks. Go take a walk. Have a dog. Walk your dog. Things simple as that. Believe me, it works. It works. Expressing gratitude in the small things in life, it works. But there is something more important. The most important thing that I discovered was a connection with God. I rediscovered the connection with God there. I had abandoned God, and I discovered that for some reason, God was testing. So I rediscovered the connection with God. We began to pray, we began to read the Bible, and for me, it's funny that when I sit, usually has a big highway called the Highway 6. When I was going to my office, every morning, there was a lot of churches. I remember I saw the sign saying Bible studies, and I told my driver, who is doing Bible studies? Who is wasting time doing Bible studies? Well, I stayed 4 years doing Bible studies every day. Every day, Bible study, my friend. Bible study, 3 hours per day, and I loved it. I loved it because I rediscovered the Bible, the God. I rediscovered wonderful people like Paul, incredible, like John, what John did. So when you begin to see this, and we were going through that situation, we said, wow. So that's what makes the connection with God. That it gives you something that is called hope, and it gives you faith. And with the hope and with the faith, nothing is impossible. When you get stick to the hope and you get stick to the faith, nothing, believe me, nothing is impossible. Nothing. So now we're having this plan. We were like spending occasion doing things all the day. We're really busy doing things, really busy. One day, after 40 years, we received a visit of an ambassador. The first time there was a direct negotiation between the two governments. And this guy did a personal visit to us. First time we had a communication, and we said, we're going to go back. I remember doing the name is Ray Carson. We're going to go back. I don't know when, but we're going to go back. So what's funny, because I had the opportunity to talk with my wife. By the way, at that moment, I was smuggling letters with her. If you saw the video, my book that is from here to video, the way I wrote it was that we began to smuggle letters in 3 years. We stayed smuggling letters. They never discovered the letters. They never discovered them. And when I came back, I found that my wife had compiled those letters, and then she had put it in a Word document, and that became the base of my book. But I didn't write it immediately. I'm going to say that it took me time. It took me time because I needed to heal. But the point is that I remember that I told the ambassador, I don't know when, but we're going to go back. So when I had the opportunity to talk with my wife, I told her, bring me a luggage. Bring me a luggage with some clothes. And she asked me, why? Because I'm going to be ready to go. And she told me that she saw that I was kind of being crazy, you know. But she brought me, they were here in the US, so there was somebody making logistics in Venezuela, okay? So the guy that was making the logistics, he brought me the luggage. And I remember that when he brought me the luggage, I had the opportunity to talk with him, and he told me, why do you want to have a luggage here? Because I want to be prepared. And I put the luggage in the corner. And every morning that I saw that luggage, I was talking to the luggage. I would say, hey, my friend, you're going to go back with me, okay? That luggage began to be my friend. I was talking every morning to the luggage. I was every morning saying, you're going to go back with me. And it took 1 year. It took 1 year, but one day, in October 1st, 2022, we were released and we came back. We came back to a prisoner swap. I had 2 years and a half that I already came back. And as I said, I discovered that my wife has compiled those letters. And my first reaction was to put it in a book, because I was thinking I need to write this. But something told me, I didn't know that was God talking to me, saying, hey, hold your horses, my friend, you're going too fast. I was like a wild stallion trying to do things. I remember that I did an interview with Anderson Cooper like the day after I came back, something like that, and my family was, hey, calm down. I wanted to share with the world, and I had the opportunity to go to Washington to give thanks to the people that helped us to come back. And I began to meet people, and I began to meet former hostages of other countries. And today I'm connected to that community. It's a kind of bizarre community that is called the hostage community. Well, I'm part of it. I'm part of it because now, you know, you begin to know people that have had the same situation in other countries. Because this is something that is terrible. And today they speak about this. This is something called the hostage diplomacy. It's terrible because you take people are taking as political pawns. It's something that you're not part of it. You get caught in the middle of a political situation back in the country. You have been seeing recently the situation in the Middle East. Well, very fortunate. Have been released some guys from Afghanistan, from Syria, other countries. So I began to get connected to this community, but I began to also in the healing process. And it took me like 1 year that I could have the opportunity to sit down to complete the work. And I know that it was God, because I needed to understand my process. I needed to know exactly what I had gone through. And now that I am more connected to my church, and I have more revelations about the things I went through, I can put it in my book. So I believe, if I had written that book 1 year before, didn't have those reflections that I put there are things that today I'm sharing with you here. Because things in life will happen. Always will happen. It's inevitable. Always will happen. No matter when, first thing, adversity will never announce. Never announce, and nobody is prepared. So if somebody is outside there saying that they're going to give you a course to be prepared, maybe you're wasting your money. Nobody's prepared. I did a corporate career. I did a lot of training in risk management and catastrophe events, refinery blowups, drift blowups, pipe burns, whatever. But nobody's prepared to an event like this. And situations that will happen in life, you will not be prepared, but you always will have the choice how you decide to face things in life. That is the only difference. That is the only difference. You don't have, you can become victim of your circumstance if you want, but there is something that is called the determination. If you have the determination, no matter what will be your circumstance, it will not march you, no matter where you're going through. And there's something else that is called the resilience. The resilience is not only to thrive, it's the power of rising. No matter how much times you fail, then you can bounce back and continue going and going and going and going. And believe me, if you go, you always will pursue. Always you will pursue. And that leverage for me became my anchor, because sometimes we carry out that heavy luggage in our shoulders, and we have to give it to Him. And that luggage has to be very small, very light, because these are your dreams. That's what you have to carry on with you, your dreams. Your dreams always have to go with you, because that's part of that, what life is. And today I discovered that for some reason of God testing us, because that's part of His master plan, I had to go through that process. And I'm not going to say that I'm happy what happened to me, but I'm really happy the lessons I learned. Because today I can stand here to say that nothing in life is impossible. For me, the word impossible doesn't exist. Believe me, nothing is impossible. And miracles really happen. Because coming back for me, that's a miracle. And not only that, God has been restoring everything that I lost. He has been restoring everything. And He has multiplied. Because remember, you can plant a hoop. You can plant a seed, but who multiply is Him. It's Him. So if you have that faith, that real strong faith, anything in life you will always overcome. And this is the lesson that I wanted to share today with you. So, for me, be determined, be resilient, being adaptive, because always you will be needed to be adaptive. By the way, the great leaders are the ones that can adapt to the situations. So those that really are successful are those that are adaptive to the changes. Those that are really prepared to be adaptive, they're going to be successful. And the leadership is very easy to be leader in a normal way. But what about when the life tests you and pushes you from your comfort zone? What about when your floor begins to move and everything crumbles? There's when you're going to be tested. That was my test. I did a long career leadership position, but believe me, my leadership skills I really tested was there. I really tested there how I needed to be supported in the rest of the guy when somebody was down, lifting them, supporting each other, and leading by example, being empathy with them, with whatever they were going, trying to be the most communicative as possible. These are things that today are part of my coaching program, because this is life. That is what life is. So this is something that can be in your life, in your business, in your family, in anything in life. So if you do all these things and you find your purpose, and with the connection, with the grace of God, you will always make things in life, no matter where you're going to. I see myself 35, 40 years ago, I don't know, but most of you. And I was there. I had dreams. But chance will happen. You have dreams, you will have chance, but the way you continue to carry on and moving forward is what's going to mark the difference. So my question to you here is, how do you want to face things in life? So for me, when you walk away from here, please think, things in life can be done. Always can be done. It's a very personal choice, and the word impossible doesn't exist. It's only in the mind. It's easy in the mind. So, well, thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
How does one smuggle letters?
Well, that's good. I'll tell you a story because I don't want to. Yeah. 1 year. Let's see that. Yeah. You know, the first year we were, as I said, we were separated, and the first year was really terrible. I lost 100 pounds because we were starving. There was no food. So. And at that moment, the relation began to be so bad that they recalled the both ambassadors. So there was no ambassador, so we were literally left behind. So at some point, the US government contacted the UN. So the UN flew to Venezuela, and the UN, they met with us, the commission of the UN. It's a commission called the Arbitrary Invitation Commission of the UN. So they took our case. And they began to tell the Venezuelan regime that these guys are going to die. They need food, they need medicine. There was no food in the country because there were already imposed sanctions, and the situation was lack of food. So the decision of these guys said, okay, tell their family to bring the food. So our family began to provide us food, but the logistic was really complicated. So one of my eldest sons, he flew to Colombia, he moved to Colombia, and from Colombia, he began to provide the food to Venezuela. It was a very complicated logistic. He did it in 4 years. So the guy that was providing me the food, he took the food every 3 days, every Tuesday, every Thursday, and every Saturday. So he brought some cans with the food for those 3 days. So I had to return the trash cans for the new food. In the trash can, I did a double button, and I tried. The first letter went through, and then when my wife answered, we began to do it, and it began to be a routine. And we wrote around 1,000 letters. Around 1,000 letters, yeah. And between her and I, around 1,000 letters, and they never discovered it. They never discovered it. We created even a secret code because we were kind of thinking they discovered the letter. So we created like a code, and it was incredible. At some point, I was informed of everything that was going outside. So it began to be a very efficient way of communication. But for us, it was like a lot of the story. You know, when I came back, I remember that when I landed, my wife, we were hugging, and she told me, I'm going to miss our letters.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, because we really were pouring our souls writing those letters. And that was the way we could communicate, because we didn't have too much phone communication. It was very, very few.
So during those 5 years that you were there and everything that you learned, and even a couple of years after when you came back, what is something that you wish you could have done different?
In my life, this is something that today is part of my training. How you have to have regain a balance between your business and your personal life. Because that I needed to run. So I give this strong recommendation to all of you guys. You want to climb the corporate ladder, that's okay. You want to build a family and be, everybody wants to be strong, have a good family, a great house, a great car, money in the bank, that's okay. But don't forget that there's a family always there. Because sometimes one of the big mistakes that people do when they're trying to climb the corporate ladder, they forget their families. As I said, my wife, I never had time to talk with her. So when I was there begging to have a 1-minute phone call, I was thinking, and that was beating my head, why I did this. So now today, this is part of my training and my coaching. This is a big part of my coaching is that people need to remain a balance between their business success and the personal fulfillment, because the personal fulfillment is what makes you really successful. When you have a good life and a good family, everybody is happy, and you're successful in your business, then now you can say you're successful. But if you're successful in a business and you go to your house and everything is broken, what are you doing? What are you doing? So that's one big lesson for me. Thank you.
Okay, so do you still go to Bible study now that you're free?
Sorry?
Do you still do Bible study now that you're free?
Oh, yeah, of course. No, not only that, today I'm part of in my church, I run a group of senior citizens called Golden Heart, people over 60 years. I'm part of a group called the Art of Giving, where we collect non-perishable foods. I'm going to begin my own non-profit too. So yes, of course. And I will never abandon that.
So did they release all you guys at the same time or just one at a time?
No, was one released before because we were 6. If you go in Google, Cisco 6, you will find tons of news in the newspaper. The first guy was released 9 months before. Because I'm going to say here, Gustavo, he had a very, very severe problem with one of his kids. So when they decided to release one, everybody we had agreed that it had to be him. So he was released, and the rest we were released 9 months after this.
So when you got captive, I mean, you were working for a corporate company?
Single petroleum, yeah.
So when you got out 5 years, were they still employed with them?
Not employed, but I get retired.
Did you?
I get retired.
Did they even try to help you get out or help you anyway?
Well, that was another story. We're going to write my next book is going to talk about that. That's another problem I discovered. And believe me, it's more common than you can imagine. There is one of the foundations that today I'm very close to them that is called Hostage US. One of the big challenges they do is they try to work with a corporate America, how to take care more of the people with their working abroad. Because there are many cases when the people have an issue abroad, sometimes they don't take the full responsibility, and sometimes they take for him, but not for the family. And there's a family. There's a family that's here. So yeah, it's a big challenge. That's part of the work that today I'm trying to push.
I hear a lot about, I try to read about this stuff too. Did you, being captive like that, did you ever, a lot of people say that you let your body take over your soul. Did you find your soul during those times?
Well, as I said at the beginning, I'm going to say very honest that we were having very low thoughts at the beginning. So at some point, there is always a breaking point. So I saw people committing suicide. Yeah. I saw people committing suicide. I saw people that 1 year after didn't make it. So for some reason we were stronger, and I believe that was the will of God. It's not easy. I can tell you, it's not easy. It's not easy. And I had talked with other former hostages of other countries, By the way, next week I'm invited to an event that's going to be in Washington, March 6th. It was declared official wrongful detained and hostage. The hostage and wrongful detained here in the U.S. is official date. There's a flag that my family is honored to be part of the making of that flag. March 6th is going to be in the White House. They're going to be in there. And they're going to attend some of the people that have been released from the Middle East. I met most of the family in September last year. September last year, I met those families. So now some of the family already are released. So you know, it's a really nice feeling because knowing that people are getting released, it's a good news, but it's a new beginning. I can tell you, when you come back, you find yourself like in a lost, and you come in like in a time machine. It's incredible. 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, 12 years, you come back and you see things totally changing.
Good. Does anyone else have a final question before we wrap it up? No, thank you so much.